Good morning and welcome to a new weekly edition of the Betting Connection podcast. My name's Chris. We've arrived to the final weekend of the season. In some leagues, it's the penultimate weekend. In others, I'm here with my co-host Rob. How are you doing?
Hey Chris, I'm doing fine. Looking forward to the end of the season, at least for the matches. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really good. So looking forward to this weekend. And it's a little sad that the season's nearly finished.
Exactly. Yeah, it's sad, but then again, it's a very interesting weekend and a lot of interesting matches now because there's a lot to play for, or at least some trophies are still to be given away for. I think in Italy, Spain is wrapped up now. England is wrapped up. Germany wrapped up. Holland's not wrapped up. Portugal not wrapped
Whoa.
up.
We're gonna get into Holland. We're gonna get into Holland after the midweek madness.
Yeah, and I like that there are a lot of European places still up for grabs. A lot of relegations fights as well. Interesting matches coming up.
Yeah, I think that I was, when I was doing my research this week, I was trying to find, meaningful matches, and there are still quite a lot. There's not many dead rubbers, and I have got a strategy this weekend, so I'm going to get into that in a minute. Just before we do, just quickly recap last week. Do you know, Rob, that last weekend our official picks, the singles, and I think there was one double in there, was exactly break even. And when I say exactly, I mean exactly. So that I don't think that's ever been done. Like obviously, it's sometimes like plus 0.03 or down 0.04, whatever. But this was exactly break evens for our official picks. And then with the two accas, it meant that we were down 1.2. But it was actually like I thought we were going to continue with our perfect weekend from the previous week because we got off to a flyer. You had two great picks in Dutch football Friday night. We had Como and Valencia that did the business. I was like, here we go again. And then it just kind of petered off, and France was a bit of a letdown on the Sunday.
Yeah, definitely was some strange results. Exactly as you said, it built up so greatly. So we had some great value picks. I liked Como. I watched that game. They played very interesting. They played very well. Valencia, same, yeah. The Dutch league finally hitting off on Friday night at the last matches of the season in the second division at least. Strange results on Sunday. Nottingham Forest didn't manage to get the win. Udinese losing against Monza, unbelievable result.
Yep. Napoli
Didn't
drawing, yeah.
Napoli drawing. Definitely some strange results on Sunday. And yeah, the League 1. Um, I
Oh,
still have some
Ligue 1
interesting
was a
picks for this
disaster.
weekend.
Ligue 1 was a disaster on Sunday evening. I watched a lot of that as well because I had three picks from the pod and I had some extra bets as well that I was messing around with Sunday evening. And it just nothing happened. It was so slow to get started. It was like nearly 0-0 in all the games in about half an hour into the matches, and they were all playing at the same time. And they did kick off in the end, but yeah, it just didn't go the right ways. But anyway, look, let's move on to this weekend. Like I say, it wasn't a disaster. We were only down a unit because of the accas didn't come in. But obviously on the back of a perfect weekend and a really good few weeks. So let's try to finish the season strong, Rob. We've got 2 weekends left, really. And this weekend, as I said in the beginning, it's the last weekend in some leagues. It's the penultimate weekend in others. And I'm just going to go for a strategy now for this weekend and next weekend, really focusing on home teams, because whether it's the penultimate or last, it is the last game of the season. When teams are playing home, they're going to be saying goodbye to their fans for the summer. So even when there's dead rubbers, players, teams on the beaches, I still think teams like to win that last game at home because they all do like a round of the pitch, celebrate. Sometimes the manager gets on a microphone and such like. So it is a bit carnival atmosphere, even when teams are in the middle of the table. So I definitely am looking at home teams this weekend, and will do next as well.
Okay, sounds like a good strategy. I always like to look at the goal market as well. When you have games that are dead rubbers or teams are just playing for nothing anymore, sometimes it tends to have a lot of goals in them in the matches. So yeah, I'm not fancying like those boost that they give for the whole like a goal in every match or like a goal in every half of every match on like Saturday or Sunday or for a specific league, because most of the times there's one match that just doesn't get the goal and then you're like, oh my God, there are loads of goals happening all over the place, but not at the ones that I need it to be. So I like at the looking at the goals market in this time of year.
Okay, well let's crack into that and let's start in the Premiership. One other strategy I think safe to play this weekend and probably next, and it probably has been for the last couple of weekends, is fading Tottenham and Manchester United.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're playing the Europa League final next Wednesday, and they've been terrible in the league, propping up the league. Literally, they're 2 places above the relegation. So terrible, terrible. I can't believe these two teams are actually playing off for a European trophy and Champions League next year. It's a scandal, but it is what it is. But I'll definitely be taking advantage, although the bookies seem to be jumping on that as well, with Villa and Chelsea at home against both of those teams. So I like the fact that Villa and Chelsea are both home. They've both still chasing Champions League, but the prices do reflect that in 1.33 for Villa and 1.45 for Chelsea. But you could play the double for nearly even money.
I'm so glad that you started here. I also had the exact same thinking of when I thought about these matches. I thought about the same reason as you were telling us just now. The final is everything that they need to play for, and Aston Villa still has a lot to play for with trying to qualify for the Champions League. And yeah, I'm totally up for this double for Friday night to kick off the weekend.
Yeah, see, that's the other part as well. It is Friday night lights as well, both games tonight. So yeah, they're interesting. So I think I wouldn't call them bankers. There's no such thing in football, and especially the Premier League. But yeah, I like both of those, and yeah, like I say, they've both got to win against two teams that are going to not be 100% into it because they don't want to pick up any more injuries.
Exactly. So
So yeah,
we'll
like that
stick.
one. Did you calculate the odds, the exact odds on the double there?
I had it for 1.94. I found it this morning.
1.94. Yeah, I got exactly the same. Exactly the same. So we'll lock that in as an official double. They're actually both going on to the student ACCA as well. So, but yeah, again, talking about student ACCA and breaking it down, that's a good one to break down. So go Chelsea and Villa double, 1.94. Okay, good place to start. What else is catching your eye in the Premier League?
There's one match that's catching my eye, and that's West Ham at home playing against Nottingham Forest. And a
Hmm.
little bit of a bold shot, and that's why it reflected in the prices. I like West Ham here to win for 2.75. Um,
Wow.
yeah, West Ham is like still tries to make something out of the season. They did get that win against Manchester United last weekend. Bowen is quite in good form, scoring a lot in the last couple of matches, and yeah, and Nottingham Forest is just not showing it, and it's they're not playing well, and definitely towards the end of the season, they're squandering their Champions League spots. So yeah, I actually fancy it. What do you think about that match?
I looked at it as well. I thought about it again in line with trying to find home teams to finish the season in front of their fans in good fashion. So it does tick that box. I think. Well, when is this game? Is it Saturday? This
No,
game.
no, it's on Sunday.
It's on Sunday. Well, either way, if Villa and Chelsea do win as expected tonight, the pressure's going to be massively on Nottingham Forest. And if things don't go their way early on, if West Ham get an early goal, they could just fold. They could fold. Obviously, you had the drama on the pitch last week. Did you see that with the owner that came down and started shouting at
Unbelievable
Nuno?
scenes. Unbelievable scenes. That was
Yeah,
unbelievable.
unbelievable after the season that they've had. Just ridiculous. That guy is a loose cannon anyway. But yeah, I just got a feeling that it could all fall apart. I mean, it already has, really, hasn't it? So if Chelsea and Villa do get the job done tonight, I would be very confident in your pick there. I would say though, if Chelsea or Villa do mess up tonight, it just leaves the door open a little bit again. And maybe that's the kick up the backside that Forest might need. And then it could play out differently. But I've got a feeling that if Chelsea Villa win tonight and West Ham get off to a good start, yeah, I quite like the price as well.
Yeah, it's mostly about the price, in combination with Nottingham Forest, fading them this time. And yeah, let's put it in for a lean. If both the results come in, then we're gonna make it a pick. It's a risky one.
Okay, yeah, we like that. Yeah, so lean pick if Villa and Chelsea win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, like that thinking. We're both well. We've started off this weekend both thinking alike. I do have one more that I was looking at. It is Brentford are home to Fulham.
Yeah.
Okay, neither team has. Well, I say they haven't really got anything to play for. What we're talking about here, eighth in the league, Brentford. Yeah, they can't finish any higher, really. No, they can't at all. So, but they will want to finish above the pack behind them, Brighton, Bournemouth, and Fulham themselves, who could catch them if they win this. This is also a derby as well. It's a West London derby. And Brentford have been in good form. They've won their last four in a row. In fact, they are unbeaten in six, and there's some good results in there. Away win at Forest, away draw at Arsenal, home draw to Chelsea, beating United, although that everyone does that. Brighton. So it's not been the easiest of runs in that time. So they have found good form. Fulham, on the contrary, has been in bad form. They've lost four of their last five. And yeah, like I say, last home game of the season for Brentford in a derby. They're going to want to win. Fulham in bad form, lost three of the last four away as well. Only win they got was against Southampton. That doesn't say much. So yeah, I do fancy Brentford here. 1.9 at home, last day of the season in front of their fans.
I actually liked it as well. Maybe the price was a little bit short in my eyes. It's a decent price. What was the price that you found?
I got 1.9.
1.9. Oh, that's a very decent price. I would jump on it because I think it's gonna go down a little bit for sure. So yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah, it's a value range, and yeah, I like it for all the reasons mentioned there. So trying to find those home teams this weekend has actually been really hard because the bookies have priced it very much along the same lines I'm thinking. So generally speaking, but I found a couple of interesting ones, and that was one of them. But that's pretty much it for the Premier League. We do have an FA Cup final this weekend. Are you going to watch it? Do you have any interest? Is there any betting plays?
I do have interest. I like the traditional build up and like the preview and like the road to glory. And I do like the storyline of Crystal Palace, of course. I'm interested, but not in a betting way. I don't like to bet too much on those cups. It's always kind of strange results. Maybe a big underdog, like maybe Crystal Palace can cook something up. Like it's the season for that kind of result. Even though Manchester City is in quite good form, they're playing better and better. I do think Crystal Palace has a chance, definitely in those finals. They always have strange results. I didn't look at the odds, to be honest. But maybe if I would want to go somewhere, I would look maybe Eze scoring a goal and the result for Crystal Palace. What do you think about
Well,
the
Palace are 4.33 to win in 90 minutes. That's I think it's attractive for a little fun bet. I mean, certainly wouldn't, you know,
No,
but
it's
feel like
not
it's
even
definitely
that
going to
big.
happen. Sorry, say that again.
I thought the price would be bigger on
Yeah,
that.
he thought it'd be bigger. Yeah, 4.33 and it's 3.2 to lift the trophy, which obviously gives you the extra comfort of potential extra time and penalties. Eze is 2.8. Oh no, hang on, that's to score or assist. He's 4.75 to score. That's not a bad shout.
You could definitely make a fun account for if you want to watch that game and you want to have like a fun bet on it. You could make like a nice account.
Bet builder.
Bet builder.
A nice fun bet builder for the FA Cup final. I think that's what I'll be doing, but like just a little fun bet. But yeah, you can't call it. You'd imagine that Man City will turn up. And there's an argument that 1.75 for Man City is a good price as well, based on the fact that, they've been there, done it, know what they're doing, come into form right, at the right, I say at the right time,
Yeah.
drew at Southampton last week,
Yeah, it's a fair price.
but anyway, yeah, it'd be interesting to watch. I really hope Palace to win. I would love to see them win it. Anyway, let's move on to your homeland, Rob. Ajax. Oh, what have they done? They had the title pretty much in the bag, and they've gone and absolutely thrown it away. Absolute mayhem in the week. Rob, tell us all about it.
It's unbelievable to be honest. PSV running away with the title at the beginning of the season. I think they were 9 points clear by Christmas. Then it was an unbelievable turnaround. PSV messing, spoiling points left, right, and center. And eventually Ajax won against PSV. They were 9 points clear, couple of matches left, and all of a sudden Ajax is spoiling the points. And it's an unbelievable story. It keeps on getting worse for them. You could see it happening. It was the 99th minute when they got an equalizer against FC Groningen. FC Groningen got the equalizer against Ajax, and now, yeah, PSV is on match point, if you want to say so. So, yeah, I think it's over and out for Ajax, and I'm actually like Sparta away from home for PSV is not the easiest match. Sparta is playing quite good football. They still have something to play for. They can try to qualify for playoffs spots to play in Europe. So they definitely want to get a result. Although the current coach of Sparta is the former coach of Ajax, who was let go after a couple of months in a very bad scenario. So
He wouldn't throw it. He wouldn't throw the match, would he?
no, I think it's too important for him for Sparta, and that's his name is Maurice Stijn. And the other thing is Ajax is playing against FC Twente, and there is his son playing. And his son, Sam Stein, we talked about it before, is going to be the top scorer of the Eredivisie as a midfield player. He has already signed for Feyenoord. So they definitely want to show Feyenoord what they can do for next season again. So very interesting matches. What's your take on it?
My take on it is that I can't believe it's come to this. I just can't believe it. I thought Ajax had just enough cushion there, and they just little by little have just thrown it away over the last few weeks. I was wary of it last time they threw points away, but there's still a couple of games. It's still in their hands, but no, they've messed it up. This weekend, I am actually putting both Ajax and PSV on my account. I know Ajax is a bit of a risk,
No,
but
No,
But
I'm going against that one.
yeah, I just think that they will get it done on the last day, just to add salt into the wound of what could have been. So yeah, I know FC Twente are chasing their own thing. So well, tell us, you actually
Uh,
like the price here on FC Twente then?
My take on it is Ajax was really devastated. The players were crying in the rooms, in the dressing rooms after the match. It's like a big, big drama, and everyone feels it as well. So my take on it pre-match, and that's a lean that PSV is gonna win, and then FC Twente is also gonna get a result somehow. I think Ajax is playing so poorly lately. I've talked about it a couple of times before that they were getting the result but not playing that well. But now they are not playing well and not getting the results. And I think FC Twente is up for a good game at the last game of the season, and Ajax is demoralized. As a pick, if you want to really look at it, I think it would be wise to watch the match live or at least follow the score lines live. And if PSV go up quite quickly, 1-0, 2-0, the Ajax players will definitely find out and then they will be even more demoralized. And then I definitely think FC Twente could get a result or there could be goals in that match. I think it's a very tough take for Ajax at the moment, so I would not like to bet them, to be honest. And there would be smarter matches to put on those accas, and you can see how it works out. Maybe watch the first 10 minutes of the game, how they're gonna play. But I think definitely when PSV goes up quickly in that match, FC Twente could get a result, and I'm gonna back FC Twente if PSV goes up quickly.
Yeah, I do understand that. That sentiment of Ajax finding out PSV are winning, but until PSV are 2-0 up, if they go 2-0 up early, I'll back you in that with that kind of thinking. But no, I'm still going to go Ajax on this one because the one thing that the manager will be ramming home this week, well, since literally the other night and the game, will be don't let like the opportunity get away from you just in case. Like you have to do your business, you have to do it. It's the last game of the season, again in front of the fans. They deserve it at least. You've got to get a win, and look, what will be will be. And he's an Italian manager. I don't think he's going to allow complacency. And FC Twente away from home, they sit in sixth position in the league at the moment. FC Twente lost away to everybody above them. So I'm going to still go for an Ajax win, and it's just going to be too little, too late.
Okay, I like it though. We can always have different opinions on those kind of matches, but I do think it's very wise to keep the result afterwards in mind for next seasons or maybe another matches that are coming up. Maybe we can like I always like to look at matches like that because there's a different sentiment than just the stats going on. And let's see how it plays out. I think you can get behind both of our opinions, but let's see. Interesting. Gonna
Have
be
you got any? Have you actually got any official picks in Holland this weekend for the last day?
no, but I'm leaning FC Twente or draw. And I'm
Hmm.
staying away also from PSV. I think the price is too short, to be honest. And yeah, it's the final day of the season. They messed up before the season. They are looking very impressive again, PSV, but you never know. And I think for that price, I'm staying clear away from that match.
Okay, well let's move on. I don't have any picks in Holland other than I do think they'll both win, and I also think Assad will win as well. And I'm putting all three of them onto the Akka. Even if Rob doesn't agree, I don't care. No, 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 no. I'm going to put them on.
That's fine.
Um, but anyway, maybe I should listen to Rob more because Gun Acca hasn't been that great. But I know that I'm going to finish with a bang, so maybe it's this one.
Yeah.
So anyway, I know one league that I have got a couple of interesting plays on, and it is a league still definitely competitive. It's in Italy, and it's Serie A. I'm going to jump to Serie A because this is a very interesting league. It's very much title race on. Napoli stay 1 point ahead of Inter Milan. And who do you fancy going into the last two games?
I for the title, I still fancy Napoli, to be honest. They have it in their own hands, although they're not playing that convincingly and they messed up last weekend. I would still say it's Napoli because, yeah, it's up to them. And Inter is still chasing. What do you think then?
Well, I think Napoli will probably just see it out, I imagine, and then Inter Milan next weekend, which will be the last weekend of the season. They've also got the Champions League following, so I mean that shouldn't affect them because they still need to try and win the league. But yeah, Napoli should get the job done. But never say never. They're not always the most convincing, Napoli, so we'll see. In terms of the matches this weekend, there's one. Well, there's two that I like, and they're more just about the price and following the strategy of finding home teams. And I'm going to back a team that's been really good for us lately, and that's Roma. They're playing at home against AC Milan, and they're a very, very attractive price. Obviously, AC Milan are AC Milan. They've actually been in good form themselves of late, AC Milan. But they lost. Did you see they lost the cup final to Bologna the other night?
Yes, I saw that. It's not has been the best of seasons for AC Milan, and getting that tough loss against Bologna, even though they beat them a couple of days before in San Siro for the league, that must hurt. That must be hurting. So I'm on the similar lines as Ajax. A devastating loss. It's going to be another loss against. But I think the signs for AS Roma are a lot better than for Ajax, of course. AS Roma is in very good form. AC Milan is quite good form, but they're not playing really for nothing. Maybe European qualification still. Let me look.
Yeah, they can still get into Europa League. Well, technically speaking, they can still get the Champions League, but it's not going to happen. AS Roma can definitely still get into the Champions League. So they really need to win. They need to win more than AC Milan, really. Milan have won their last three in a row in the league. They've won the last three away from home as well. But yeah, I think a hangover here, and not a good hangover neither. It's going to be one where it's going to be hard to pick themselves off the floor. I understand why you make the comparison to Ajax, but the difference is Ajax can still win the league. AC Milan cannot do much more than where they are. So they will be crying into their beers. I don't think they'll be as good as Roma. I know AS Roma finally their unbeaten run came to an end last week away at Atalanta. But again, last home game of the season, need to win, want to get Champions League. And AC Milan, they've been pretty poor away from home against the better teams. They've only won once, which was Inter Milan, which you can argue is their home anyway. Everybody else in the top half, they've either lost or drawn to. So I fancy Roma to get a job done at a very, very attractive price of 2.30.
Yes, definitely a interesting price, and I back you fully on this one.
Okay, we'll put both as a pick here. I have another one.
Let's go.
I have another one, and it's involving the same team that we're talking about in terms of Bologna, and I'm going to back Fiorentina at home against Bologna, also for a hangover, but of a different kind. This is more of the hangover that you spoke about a couple of weeks ago in Holland. They've just won a cup. Absolute crazy scenes in Italy. I think it's the first trophy they've won in God knows, I don't know, like their history. I don't know. It's madness. And yeah, they're going to still be partying as far as I can see. I mean, they can technically finish in the Champions League positions, but there's so many teams fighting for that last kind of place because the top three is done. So, so many teams, and they have got three teams ahead of them. So they'd have to be an almighty collapse for Bologna to get in the Champions League. I just don't think it's realistic. I think they'll still be in party mode. Fiorentina, you wouldn't back them with your life, and they have lost their last two games, but they were both away from home. They've actually been in good form at home, unbeaten in four, and their home form in the league this season against the top teams has been absolutely fantastic. They lost away at Napoli. Other than that, they beat Inter Milan at home, Atalanta at home, Juventus at home, Lazio at home, AS Roma at home, AC Milan at home. They beat all the big boys except Napoli at home. I expect them to do Bologna, who have only won once away from home to someone in the top half. So, yeah, I like Fiorentina, and the price is huge, 2.55.
Good price, and I like your reasoning. So, yeah, green lights, all green lights from here.
All green lights. Well, I managed to get a couple of green lights after the Ajax disagreement, so we'll
Yeah.
take that. But that's fine. Yeah. So I've just gone on a hangover strategy on both of those matches for different reasons, and that was why I like it. And as I say, it follows my home team strategy for this weekend at better than even money for both of them. So yeah, I like that. Let's see if Italy can finish us off strongly, which has been a pretty decent league for us this year. Rob, do you have anything in Serie A?
I like Juventus to win their match against Udinese.
On my student
Udinese,
Acca.
yeah, perfect. That's a perfect match for that. And I also like leaning towards Empoli to get a win against Monza. Although Monza had their first win since a long while last weekend, Empoli is still fighting to get away from relegation, and this is the match for them. Even though it's away from home, it couldn't be a better match at a better time for them to get 3 points. They had a win last weekend against Parma to get 3 points. Now they're even with Lecce, and they're 1 point behind Venezia in 17th spot. So 3 points here, and all the other teams spoiling points would make them go out of the relegation zone. The price is also reflects that for 1.76, so it's not even that good of a price. I hoped it was bigger than evens, but yeah, I still like Empoli to win this match.
Okay. What odds are they? Sorry?
1.76.
1.76. So you said you started all that off by saying you were leaning, but did you talk yourself into a pick there?
Mm, yeah, picking it. I always pick it, but I'm always going to go for it.
Okay, so let's go for a pick on Empoli. I know you'd love to fade Monza, so you've got to finish off with that, haven't you?
If
Um,
if all my bets combined when I was fading Monza, it would make me it would definitely be up a couple of units.
yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. Okay, let's move on then, Rob. Let's move on. We'll go to the French league because I know that you've got a pick there. I don't have any picks in France this weekend. I've got a couple for my student Akka, but what's caught your eye?
My eye has caught Saint-Étienne. They are fighting against relegation. They're now still in 17th spot, but they could move up a couple of places if the results go in the right way for them this last weekend in France. They are playing against Toulouse. The name says it all. They are going to lose. They are on the beach already. They playing for nothing. Saint-Étienne really needs those points, and they won their last match away from home against Reims. So that was quite nice. They had a win against Lyon at home a couple of matches ago. They lost against Monaco and Strasbourg in between those wins. Now, fair enough if you lose against Monaco and Strasbourg. So I think Saint-Étienne win for over even money, 2.1.
Yeah, I actually did look at this one myself, and I also was leaning towards Saint Etienne. Just, yeah, for the reasons that you've mentioned there, really. Toulouse, were in really poor form. Actually, they're unbeaten in three now, but two of those were at home. And yeah, they were in really poor form before that. Saint-Étienne fighting for their lives. I just wasn't sure whether I could trust Saint-Étienne enough. But yeah, I think for the price, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, it's a single pick, and the price reflects that it's not a sure thing. But if it's even money, I like to pick Saint Etienne this time.
What price did you get?
2.1.
2.1. Okay. Anything else in France?
No, leaning towards Nice and Strasbourg double. If you fancy two teams that are still trying to get those Champions League spots and really need to win, that's Strasbourg and Nice.
Yeah, I've got Strasbourg on my student ACCA actually. I like them, and I've put Marseille on my student ACCA as well. Again, home teams. Okay, Rob. I it's the last weekend. We normally go to Spain earlier than this. We don't have any official picks. The league's over. Barcelona won the league last night, in fact. And yeah, I don't have any plays. I understand that you've got a couple of games that you like goals in, one being in La Liga and one being in the Bundesliga. So why don't you tell us about that and finish off our official picks with some goals?
Yeah, goals. I think Barca's gonna celebrate on the pitch on Sunday because they won the title. They have been scoring a lot of goals. They have been conceding a lot of goals, and they are playing against a team that is famous in Spain for also having exactly the same thing, conceding a lot of goals and also scoring a lot of goals. Barcelona, Villarreal. The scoreline is quite high, but I think you can go even higher if you want to. But I found over 3.5 goals for 1.8. It was. Let me double check that for a while. Um, the other match that I liked is
Rob, you tell us about the other match, and I'll go and check the odds on that one. Okay.
okay. I will tell you about the other match. The other match is Borussia Mönchengladbach. They are playing against uh, VfL Wolfsburg and Borussia Mönchengladbach. We talked about it a lot this season, and if we talk about them, it's mostly about goals. Over 3.5 goals for 1.78 in their last match of the season.
Okay, it's 1.9 for the over 3.5 in the Barca match, so not a bad price at all.
Over 3.5 and over 3.5. So yeah, let's go.
Okay, so we've gone. Okay, just finish it off. Okay, so over 3.5 goals in both of those matches, and that rounds us off for official picks on the penultimate slash last weekend in some. And let's just move on before we do the accas and the roundup, Rob. Let's move on to the quiz section. And as we are coming to the end of the season, I thought I would ask you your five, your top five standout players of the season across the top six big leagues across Europe.
Okay. Okay. First off, Gyökeres. I think he stands out because of the unbelievable amount of goals that he scored for Sporting this season, and he's probably due for a big transfer maybe this summer. So on that part, I like Gyökeres.
I'll just stop you there quickly, Rob. Do you think this guy is going to be able to do it in the Premier League?
I do like that he has been playing in England for a couple of seasons, right? Or at least a season in the
Yeah, he played.
championship.
Yeah. A couple of seasons. One big season he had goal wise. Yeah.
And he's quite physical. That's a thing that he has going for him. The only thing that's not going for him is that he's proving it in Portugal. So that's always quite hard to tell. His age is quite good, at least for he's like in his late 20s. So if you want to have like a mentally strong player, I think Gyökeres is a very stable and proven goal scorer. So yeah, if you can't get Isaac, maybe him and Šeško are the next best thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Šeško was the name for so long, but I'm starting to lean a lot to Gyökeres. I wanna give him a go. I think he's gonna do it. And so many Arsenal fans that don't want him though. I just find it weird. I mean, the guy, regardless of what league you're playing in, I mean, clearly knows where the net is.
Exactly.
But anyway, on to your next player.
Next player, yeah, you make me think. But if I need to think quick, then it's definitely gonna be Gravenberg. Maybe I'm a little bit biased. It's
I
Liverpool,
knew it.
but he has been an unbelievable player this season, and his development has been unreal.
Yeah, can't
Yeah.
argue. I'm sure it's not the only Liverpool player you have though.
What? Give me one of yours. Now you can go and give me one.
Well, one of mine would have been my five are quite obvious, really. I mean, I think you have to have Salah in there, though. No?
Yeah, Salah. Although he towards the end of the season, he's not
Yeah,
for me. He's like been on and off the season,
yeah, true,
on off the season.
true. But his numbers are still very good.
Yeah, his numbers been unbelievable. So I think he has 21 goals. 21 goals.
Something like that, and nearly as many assists as well. So, yeah, yeah, you have to have Salah in the top five, I think. Anyone
Yeah, I do.
obscure?
I do. I do. Now I think of two players that definitely need to be in this ranking, and that's first off Rafinha. I didn't believe he was that good in England, or at least he was playing for a lesser team, not for the top six. So maybe he was not able to show his full potential, but he's definitely doing it at Barca, and definitely this season. He has 34 goals already and 25 assists across all competitions. That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Besides
he's
that,
in my top five. He's in my top five for sure.
oh, I have how many spots do I have left? One more or two more?
One more. One
One
more.
more. That makes it easy. The last one, maybe the Ballon d'Or winner for this season. And you probably know where I'm going with it. Lamine Yamal. Seven
Lamine Yamal.
scoring goals left, right, and center. And he's like playing like a little boss as well, right, at the moment, right? He's like holding up the ball underneath his foot and then playing, toying with his defenders. And sometimes it seems like the more players defend him, it's easier for him to get through those players. It's like a fun exercise for him. Like if there are like three or four defenders, he's like, okay, I can go this route or this route or this route. And yeah, I really like him. And could he be better than Messi and Ronaldo?
I don't know. The way he's going, he's only 17. He's only 17, man.
Only
I
17.
He's only 17. I think this is his second La Liga title already.
Yeah.
And yeah, nuts. I'm scared. You always think like when we watched the Euros last year, you know, I've seen players do stuff at these tournaments and then they never really back it up. But my God, has he backed it up?
Yeah, he definitely backed it up. He was, and he's still performing on like a weekly basis as well. He scored as well last night against Espanyol. Unbelievable screamer in the top.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable goal as well. Unbelievable goal. Yeah, I mean, Yamal, Rafinha, and Salah are definitely in my three. Three of my top five. I knew you were going to go Gravenberch. I mean, as biased, I would need to put an Arsenal player in there, and for me, it would be Lewis Skelly. Um, it's a toss up. It's a toss up at Arsenal over who will win the Player of the Season at Arsenal this year, and it will be either Lewis Skelly or it will be Ewan Timber, one of your Patriot men.
Yeah,
He's absolutely fantastic as well. But Lewis Skelly, when you think of where he was at the start of the season, well, he wasn't. That's the point. He never played a game. He actually got a yellow card before he played a Premier League minute. He got booked as a substitute against Man City. Then Haaland asked him who the F he was. And then he went on to show the world who the F he was and took the piss out of Haaland with his yoga pose. He has absolutely dominated anyone he's played against. Ridiculous. Like he kept Rodrigo and Mbappe in his back pocket. He's 18 now. Even against Liverpool last week, I know it was a bit of a dead rubber, but Salah didn't get any change out of him either. It's like, this guy is going to be really good. He played his first game for England. He scored a goal. Like, for me, absolutely unbelievable player. Completely took Arsenal fans by surprise. We didn't have any clue that he was going to be this good. So he definitely, just as a player that's come out of nowhere, would get into my top 5. Then after that, it's really difficult. Yeah, I think you make a good case for Gyökeres. Anyone that scores that many goals, it's got to be considered, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, besides that, I think it would be nice. I think Doué is also a breakthrough player from Paris Saint-Germain.
Dembele for his 2025
Yeah,
form as well.
so far so good for Dembele. So
Got to be
yeah,
considered.
you
It's
have
got to be,
Musiala, of course,
yeah.
Munich.
Even Harry Kane.
Yeah, even Harry Kane,
I
But
think we're just so used to him. We just expect it, don't we?
yeah, and there are a lot of good players, to be honest, and a lot of teams are playing well. So yeah, but yeah,
But
fair
yeah,
enough.
good
I like my
season.
top 5.
Lots of goals, and I think that's why we automatically always think about goal scorers when we ask that question, which is why I like to see, people like Gravenberch or Lewis Skelly being talked about, because it's harder to stand out when you're not scoring and assisting every game. So fair play.
It is. It is.
Okay. Okay. All right then, Rob, let's finish with the Accas. Come on, we've got 2 weeks left of this season. Let's finish off with a bang. What have you got for the biggest bang of them all, the big Gun Acca?
I have already one match that we probably have in both accas, but we'll find out. The big Gun Acca, first off with a bang. Juventus, Strasbourg, Lille, Nice, Borussia Dortmund, Chelsea, Aston Villa. And you can find it for 9.5.
Okay. It is very similar to the student ACCA.
Yeah, I already
Well, I say very.
so I
There's
had quite a
four.
lot of student ACCA prices, to be honest. And I had PSV on it, but I changed my mind. I think it was a little bit too short. And yeah, like the big teams like Bayern München, Paris Saint-Germain, they're all already they already won the title. They don't have nothing to play for. Same goes for Barcelona and Real Madrid and so on and so on. So yeah,
Yeah, I actually noticed there was not so many big gun ACCA prices, and there wasn't so much student ACCA prices neither. It was somewhere in the middle,
yeah.
which is why we probably found each other when picking these ACCAs this weekend. My student ACCA is 8 teams. There's a lot of the same ones there. Got Chelsea and Villa as well, as per our double. I've gone 3 teams in Eredivisie: Assad, Ajax, even to Rob's disgust, and PSV. Then I've gone Juventus as well, Strasbourg as well, and I've got Marseille as well. So there's 8 teams there, 19.20.
Okay, I like it.
Right, Rob, bet of the week. We both won. I think we both had 2 weeks in a row winning the bet of the weeks. What have you got for us this week?
Ooh, I will let you have the first pick this time. Maybe
My
one.
bet of the week is going to be Brentford.
Okay. I like it.
Brentford 1.9. I really like Roma as well, but no, Brentford 1.90 because it's more than just trying to find an angle with this one. There, it's got my strategic angle, but it's also got pure form angle to it as well. So that's why that is the bet of the week. Brentford 1.90 at home to Fulham.
Okay, that's bet of the week. For me, it's going to be Saint-Étienne. Over even money. Um, they are playing to keep their team up. Motivational factor is there. So and it's all in the name of Toulouse. So Saint-Étienne is gonna win this one.
To lose or not to lose? That is the question. But I think we want them to lose. So, okay, Rob, that does bring us to the end of the pod. Just before we sign off, I will just do a quick recap of all those official picks. And we start in the Premier League and Friday night football. We have both Chelsea and Villa to win in a double 1.94, just under even money. Rob likes West Ham, 2.75 to beat Nottingham Forest. This is a lean unless Villa and Chelsea do both win tonight, and then that turns into a pick because we think that Forest will crumble. Brentford at home of Fulham, West London derby. It's my bet of the week. Brentford 1.90. In Italy, we've got Roma 2.30 at home to AC Milan, hungover and distraught after the midweek final loss. Fiorentina playing the champions of that game, Bologna, but we reckon they'll be hungover as well for different reasons. Fiorentina at home at 2.55. And then we have Empoli. Rob loves to fade Monza. Empoli this time away at 1.73. And then in France, we have Rob's bet of the week, Saint-Étienne against Toulouse, as he just mentioned, at 2.10. And then finishing off, we have goals. Barcelona versus Villarreal, over 3.5 goals at 1.90. In Bundesliga, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Wolfsburg, also over 3.5 goals, 1.78. And then you have the big Gun Acca, the infamous big Gun Acca. Juventus, Strasbourg, Lille, Nice, Dortmund, Chelsea and Villa at 9.5. Rob, we only have one weekend left of the season. Where can people find us?
Very good, very good, very good. Very impressive. Yeah, people can find us across all different kind of social media platforms. You can find us mainly on Twitter, or you call it now X. You can also find us on Instagram, on Threads, and on Blue Sky. If you want to listen to a podcast, please do it on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment. We've been doing very well this whole season. Let's keep it up. We're up quite amount of units, so please reward us with a like or subscribe. Yeah, we always come back to you if you comment on it. We really like it. So yeah, that's it.
Excellent, Rob. I couldn't say it better myself. In fact, I will just say it better myself one last time. Like and subscribe. Ciao for now.
Happy betting.